Well, it's the Saturday before the Middlesex contest, and we haven't had a drop of rain in 2 months here. Everything is so dry. One of the things we're going to try to do today, somewhere early this morning, I hope, once we get done feeding the fish and everything, is get up to the old circle burner field, get a couple of practice flights, and let's hope, well, we're going to put the backup motor in Strega and the backup pipe and try to get a couple of test flights and try to evaluate whether we want to fly that at the team trials. Since there's no appearance points, there's no sense flying one of these Spitfires. We'd like to get some flights on Strega. We want to work on our stunt pattern, and I guess we have about a month now to prepare for the team trials. Middlesex will be a good tune-up time. Now, what I love about coming out here early in the morning, you can see the sun's not even up. I get up, well, not too early really. Come out here, have my cup of coffee, have a buttered roll, feed the fish. And you can see we've had, well, just the best of summers. It's been an unbelievable summer. Karen's work in the garden has really made the, I don't know, gives me something to do every night to come out and water the garden, see the flowers, how they're doing. I think if I didn't have this, I'd just become a total crazy model plane fanatic, and I wouldn't have too many other things to live for anyway. One of my favorite things, you can see right in the back here, we have a big Joe Pye weed. He's as high as the fence here. And I've been watering him, nurturing him. The fish are getting bigger by the minute. It's unbelievable. Come on, boys. We're going to go to Middlesex tomorrow. Anyway, before we run off to the contest, I want to try to get some flights. And I guess one of the nice things, I like to know that I have a spare plane just in case, and in this case Straga's been just the best of spare planes, even though he's been whacked and stuff. There's no appearance points at the team trials, and actually the biggest reason we're going to consider or try to use Strega is because as soon as those team trials are over, and realistically that's the end of our real competitive season, and we start making plans for next year. One of the things that usually happens is, that's going to happen this year, is we're going on a vacation. We're going on a 3-week jaunt around the country. And this year I have to take the plane with me, and I really don't want to have that Spitfire in the back of the car for 3 weeks while we're driving all around. Anyway, let's get up to Club Field, kiss the fish goodbye, and get some flights. Anybody up in our part of the country knows this has been the driest. We have had no rain. It's, well, as I say, the big leaf falls now. The driest, absolutely the driest, and even that, I've been watering every night, and even at that, some of the plants aren't doing so well, but here's our favorite, Mr. Joe Pye weed. He's over 6 feet tall now. I have no idea. I had no idea when we got him that this was going to be so much fun to have. Anyway, Karen, your labor of love is really beautiful. Pack up Strega and get up to the field. It's funny, when you don't get to fly a plane in a long time, you kind of forget what the handle setting is and all these little details. Anyway, I got all the paraphernalia put together. We'll have a whole day to practice before we go to Middlesex. And I always like to use Middlesex as a little barometer for, well, the air is crappy there. Usually if you can get the plane to fly good there, usually you have a pretty good setup when you get out to the real contest, the big contest, whatever contest. Anyway, feed the birds, feed the fish, feed myself, have a cup of coffee. We're out of here. Oh, the beautiful tree-lined streets of downtown Rutherford early in the morning. Now this is something you see in Rutherford. Boy, we've had such a drought. Look at this guy's watering his grass illegally. guess he's got so much money. Yeah, check it out. Big house, a lot of money. He gets to water his grass while there's a water ban on everywhere else in the state. Oh well, off to the field. It's funny, whenever you haven't flown a plane in quite a long time, now we're going out flying it again, it just brings back a lot of memories. What a good soldier this plane is, and why it was worth fixing them. Now this will allow me not to have to use one of the good Spitfires for the team trials, since you're not dealing in appearance points, and usually, well, not usually, every time I've let somebody else take one of the planes home from the team trials and went on vacation, it came back with some damage, so just as happy if we're going to damage something, let's damage Strega. There's just something about being up real early in the morning before everybody gets up, seeing the birds, seeing the fish. I don't know, the world just seems like a real nice place early in the morning. Good place to go flying, too. Looks like we may even catch some weather here. That's amazing. Now it looks like we have a day of dead air here. Now one of the things I did, and this was at, Bill Zimmer in the past has critiqued flights for me, so has George. So what I did, because one of the things I want to work on, wing over, square 8 intersection. Team trails are usually decided by the square 8 intersection more than anything else. See what I've done? I've lined up a chair, and I wish I had a white chair. This chair isn't really as visible as it should. And I have a chair down the other end of the field, directly opposite the pad, with a little piece of PVC pipe. I'm ignoring that little piece of red tape. But one of the things I want, and since there's no air whatsoever, it's just stone dead, I'll be backing up all over the field. Obviously, this is one of the ways of working on your geometry, and what I'll try to do is get the camera directly behind this chair. And what I'm looking for is that the wing over is going over straight. Now, I've always had that little kink in the wing over from my body position, the way I used to do it, and I've tried to break that habit, but it's a long time coming, and I'll see if I can get any improvement today. I have about 3 weeks to work on this. Also, what this is real good for identifying when I go back home and play the video. Pass it on to Zimmer and to, well, George Aldrich has been real helpful too. Sitting down and watching flight after flight, I can pretty much pick up my intersection just about, I guess, relative to the trees. You can put a little piece of 1/8" tape on the screen and see if the heights are kind of consistent. Anyway, this will allow me to have some, I guess, relatively good geometry data. I'll keep the camera in the same position until, well, it's real early in the day, until some of the other flyers get here and they need to use this circle. Usually I can get 2 or 3 flights before anybody gets here, so let me see if I can get this thing fired up. I got the stooge set up. Get a couple of flights in here. I also have Rich Peabody's given me a whole handful of 3-bladed props to try, but I've always had the best luck 3-blade wise with George's prop, the one you get right from George. We had a couple of Brian Ether props that have been modified. I think Rich bought these from Will Hinton. I don't know. They look like they've been worked on and pitched and sanded and shimmed and everything. So we're going to go back to the prop that we've always had the best luck with, because we don't really have an unlimited amount of time to prepare here. And we were real happy with the pipe. The 2 original pipes that we made from the mandrels, they have just been, everybody liked the way they ran at the gnats. I was real impressed with how friendly they were. Come up the field real early like this. One of the things that's really neat is you're here all by yourself, and you can hear the geese in the background and the crickets cricking, and every once in a while a deer or a fox or something will walk out of the woods, see the plane, appearance point it, and go back into the woods, but you can hear the geese. There's something going on in the woods right now. Anyway, I like to get at least 1 or 2 flights for my own reference, and then I can look at them this afternoon, see if there's anything I can pick up on before we actually leave to Middlesex. Now, last time, if I remember right, the last time we were here on a day before a contest, B-17 went over the field, but I don't think there's any B-17s going to be flying over today. I just hear some things going over, but so cloudy. Actually, it looks like it's going to rain. It hasn't rained in 2 months. Anyway, It's always good to come back to an old friend, and this is why I felt when I fixed this plane it would be worthwhile, if for no other reason than it gives other people that have crashed, and many people have looked at that video and said, oh yeah, I could fix my plane too. Well, this one I don't know. I'm glad I still have him in the Air Force, because otherwise I would have to take the I-beamer or one of the other Spitfires out there, and then for 3 weeks it'll be in the back of the car, bouncing around, always with the thought somebody will back into you or a truck will hit it or something. Really don't care to do that. This guy, the nice thing, and there's a lot to be said for old planes. One thing nice about old planes, they get a scratch, who cares? You don't have a heart attack every time they, a bug flies into the wing. Or in this case, I just hope this holds together until after the team trials. That would be a real nice asset and save me a lot of wear and tear on the good planes.
No, we're just looking at the geometry, and I wanted to take a look at the, first off, what I was looking for in the hourglass is it looks like this leg is laying too far back. I'm going to have to underturn that maybe. If you want to look at the intersections on the square 8 most of all, and I want to look at the wing over track, so that's the things I'll be looking for on the next flight. This is just the fun of going back to a plane that you have a lot of flights on, but I don't have a lot of flights, well, since that month or two before the Nats. But it really is, well, I don't know, like an old friend. It's like seeing an old friend you haven't seen in a long time. I guess to me there's, well, something special about it. The relationship you have with the plane, if you have to explain it to somebody, they probably really won't understand what you're talking about. It's, crazy, I guess, is the right word. Crazy is the word we're looking for here. Anyway. Seems like it's still in relative trim. I want to make up a spare set of lines and handle before the day's out. Another thing I want to try, because it's always worth having, and is a set of 015s. At the team trails, you can legitimately fly 015s, of course. And one that's real handy is if it rains, or if it looks like rain. That's a great time to just be able to reach into the toolbox and have a handle all set and be ready to go. So within the next couple days, we'll want to make that up. But the only time you can use that, well, I guess you could use it if you're on a team too, but really would like to have as many spare parts as possible. just had a really funny thing happen, and I gotta share this with you. Mike Kajeski pulls into the parking lot, and I'm walking out to the handle, and I trip and go, I didn't have the camera on for that play, I trip and go right on my rear end, wreck the set of lines. The lines are now in a trash barrel. Mike was laughing so hard. Tom Hampshire was here. Mike, I'm laying out halfway to the circle, and I look around, and there's two guys just rolling on the floor laughing. I get back to the stooge, and it had almost released where I went down, so I figure I better sit down and take a break here, let Mike take a flight. Anyway, the air is totally dead here. Not much chance we're going to get any real quality flying, but I wanted to go home and look at those wingovers. Well, we really got 3 good flights. I guess we're ready to go to Middlesex here. And Mike, of course, has been a big help, and one of the things I like to do is look at the plane from outside the circle. I just put a trim tab on it in the last session that we had, and it looks like I've got it. Let's see. Looks like it's still down inverted. I'm trying to see it on camera. That's the purpose of shooting this. Yeah, it's still down inverted and up a little bit upright, so I can bend the tab just a little bit more. But anyway, as usual, one of the things that's really been a joy is the fact that this motor is so dead reliable. It's allowed me to do things like set up these cones and set things up to work on my geometry. And having a reliable motor package really is such a big help. It's the kind of motor, the kind of package where just somebody else comes out, picks up the handle, and goes and flies the plane. And I like to see when guys like Mike that have just learned the pattern can come out and fly the plane. Then I can look at it from outside the circle and see trim things that I normally can't see when I'm flying. It just makes it easier for me if I have 2 men. Now, I know most people don't do this, and I'm not saying it's the thing everybody should do, but if you have somebody you really trust that you can let fly your plane, one of the things that allows you to do here, now I'm looking at this wing, and I want to see if that tab is going to be the right. I don't know, it's real close. It looks like it could be just a little bit more. Now we've got over 30 gallons in this motor now, and it's just reliable as could be. You can see the air is dead. It's kind of meaningless to be doing practice in here with this. The air the way it is, just can't even get out to the handle without falling down. Glenn Meadows had a little bit of problem over the last year with employment. He hasn't been making a lot of money, so he's been catching rabbits and eating them.
One of my guys at work.
Look at him. That's a wild rabbit, though.
We had him for about 2 months.
Do you still have the geese? No more geese?
We let him go.
Hey, rabbit. Now, he's a wild rabbit, for sure. You can tell he's all nervous and stuff.
One of my guys that works for me, his landlord ran over a rabbit's nest, killed all the babies except this one.
Hey.
And he was in pretty rough shape, and Karen nursed him back to health. But we don't want to handle him or anything to get him used to people.
You gotta... You'll never be able to release him then.
No, that's why we got to get rid of him now. He's starting to get friendly. He sees you go by the cage, and he comes over.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
So I'm going to take him back in the woods and let him go, let the foxes eat him.
Yeah. They will. I haven't seen the fox in a long time. I think he's jumped ship or something.
My dog got tangled up in his den one day. But
hey, come on out. Rabbit met her. Yeah, if you keep him any longer, he's going to yigger his mother.
I don't need another rabbit. We've had one that was supposed to last. And they screech at her until she puts food out.
Yep. Are you ready to go back in the wild here? I feel like we're on the Animal Channel. You know, that crocodile guy that runs around catching crocodiles barehanded?
He's nuts, that guy. What the heck?
Karen won't even watch the show. She said he's crazy.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Don't put him all the way in the woods. Every time I walk in the woods, I come out with poison ivy, poison sumac, poison...
just be careful.
You know what happens with poison ivy? Every time you get it, it's worse than the time before. There's no cure for it.
Yeah.
I found it out the hard way.
No, I believe it's cumulative.
Yeah, it's cumulative,
If
and
it doesn't contact me, I'm okay.
oh no.
As long as I'm not in it.
Remember that old guy Don that used to fly here?
Yeah.
There goes the baby rabbit. Bye bye. Old Don, I said to him one day, you know, don't walk over where he was walking. There's poison ivy. I never get poison ivy.
Oh.
Then I don't see him for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The next thing I see is he's all bandaged up with that stuff on him.
To his armpits. Yeah.
Oh, you look like he just got out of Auschwitz, for crying out loud. Unbelievable. Well, our day is now complete. Larry's here. You're not missing any good air, huh, Mike? Good air is stone dead. Can't believe it. Come on, Larry. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't trip going out to the lines, Larry. How disappointing. Now listen, here's the thing. Glenn Meta bought this giant wood boat, 42 foot? Yeah. Hold on, Larry's going to take a flight. Maybe we'll see some excitement today. Hey Tom, I guess dead air doesn't matter in combat, huh?
No. It'll get flippy on you.
They don't go through their own air, they're too small.
He's been doing that for 40 years.
He never tires of doing this.
Going fast and doing a lot of loops.
We got some video of the combat guys out at the Nats, boy. They had some good matches. A lot of self-destruction. Those little Russian motors, I guess that's what this is, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You have one of those little carbon fiber props, too?
Yeah. Like a 6.5, 2.5, something like that. Look at Mike the Carpenter smiling.
Glenn buys this 42-foot boat.
Volley.
Basically got it out of steel, literally. So, and the deal is he wants to paint it with Brodak dope. Now, he wants to know if John Brodak will donate the dope to finish this.
I'll name it Brodak.
They'll name it the USS Brodak, HMS Brodak.
No, the MV Brodak.
What's that mean?
Motor vessel.
Here's the motor. Ooh. What kind of motors we got here? What kind of?
Steamship. It's got twin Chrysler 360s in it.
They look a lot like Tiger 60s to me.
Yeah. Well, they are.
Where's the tune pipes? That's what I want to know. This looks like a job for Brodak Rejuvenator. Wow, if we wanted to find out.
I'm going to get all the guys down there with their airbrushes.
That's a good hull at Owens. Is a good boat.
Double plank.
Yeah.
Double plank mahogany.
Owens is a good.
So the deal is you're going to live on a boat all summer.
No, with weekend.
Most of the summer, anyway. And raise rabbits.
Yep. We'll have some animals on here. I want to get a parrot to keep on the boat.
I could have got you by on a parrot a couple of years ago.
My neighbor raises them.
You remember that macaw I had, the red one?
That goddamn thing.
We don't call him a goddamn thing. We call him.
One that was this big. He had a whole room in his house dedicated to that bird.
That was a parrot room.
What do we need a parrot that talks for?
What's this in the water? What's this guy doing in the water?
That's my brother.
All the time,
The transom, the seam between the transom and the hull was leaking, and the bilge pump was going off because of it, so we just temporarily
Yeah, but
patched
who
it up.
listens? Everybody talks.
Notice Glenn isn't doing the work. He's got his brother. His brother's in the water like Captain Nemo here doing the work.
That's the galley. my brother down in the engines again.
Glenn doesn't do anything except show pictures of the boat.
Glenn, is this boat a joint deal with your brother? Or
It's yours.
It is now.
I was gonna say,
Unless the brother pulls the cork out of the back.
Hey, look.
Hey Glenn, what's for supper?
My brother split up with his wife, and he bought this three-family house up in Nyack, New York.
Here's the brother trying to clean his
I'm no fool. I'm putting this boat about a mile from his.
This thing's got some nice staterooms in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's half of the rear stateroom. That's looking out the back window of the boat.
I'm sure in its day. This
Hey,
thing
in its day, it was the
an
queen of the
executive
sea.
retreat for the weekend.
Yeah, queen of the sea.
In my day, I was the queen of the sea. Yeah, you could paint that up. That a couple thousand hours of work, no problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet it's 1,000.
I
What's
already
the
did
name
that.
of the boat? The Acropolis?
Acropolis. I already did the decks. I mean, I got these decks looking like brand freaking new. Took oxalic acid to them. And man, unbelievable. It makes it look like it just came out of the sawmill. Yeah. You know what, Clint?
In the world of stunt, there are...
Boat. When you get done painting,
By the time you get done with the bow, the transom's rusting.
when you get to Fort Lee, go back to 125th Street and start over at Neat.
I got a 10-year-old, I got a 12-year-old. 5 years from now, I ain't gonna have nothing. They'll be gone with their girlfriends and their cars.
Hey, do you understand that this job falls on your shoulders to do all the work?
Years, we can enjoy it. And I don't care if I get any money for it.
Yeah.
I'll dump it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Turn it into a flying field.
I'll bring it here and we can
That's it.
use it, you know.
Launch it here.
We can hook motors on the deck and
Yeah, we use it for, Brodak's looking for a test boat to do his dope testing on.
this is it.
Brodak Marine Tech's boat testing dope. That is a true story, and I mean true. I've had 6 boats in my lifetime. In the time I was out of model aviation, I bought a boat, a Sutphen with an Oldsmobile engine and a Berkeley jet, and I was the king of Greenwood Lake for about 2 minutes until I found a 20-foot Bonzi with one of these Chevy racing engines with about 1 million horsepower, and he just sprayed water all over me. Anyway, the 2 best days in a boat owner's life, the day he buys the boat and the day he sells it. Man, the day the kid came with the trailer and took that last boat I owned out and I got back into model planes, man, God bless Vic Macaluso and Glenn Metter, I'm telling you. A boat is a labor. You think building stunt ships is a labor. Buff and Brodak dope is a lot of work. Buy a 42-foot boat and see how much maintenance there is. It's like maintenance with a flying bridge. Anyway, we're going to go over to the tenant's house. Needless to say, they have more problems we have to resolve, but it looks like we do have some decent tenants. They'll release me from bondage just in time to get about a week of practice before I go out to the team trials. Anyway, most of this summer's been ruined by real estate problems, and Mike, God bless Mike for helping me, boy. He's been a jewel. Without him, I don't know if I might have just given up the ghost and set the house on fire. But it's kind of a good relationship. He comes over here and burns all my Power Master fuel. We got 56 more gallons coming, and this is the end of my fuel. I've got to save enough for Middlesex tomorrow, so I'm not going to take any more flights. We're at the end. Tomorrow's Middlesex. Don't use all the fuel. A beautifully hot day at Middlesex. Carlos Serra has promised us, actually we had a couple of drops of rain this morning. What do you think? Did Banjock get ripped off for $10? He got the motor, the kit, and it isn't even built. It's slapped together.
Emails?
And a kit for $10. Banjock the trader.
Where were you at our contest, Wendy?
On the way to England.
On the way
I was 10 feet from the SST while you guys were having your fly-off. How's the contest? Good?
That contest was excellent.
They're going to have it every year now, right?
It's not in stone, but it looks like it'll be next year.
The Navy will give you the...
Yeah. We had, I think, about 50 entrants
Fantastic.
for a local contest.
That's great. Yeah,
We're
it's
going to
great.
try and add a scale event to it and make it a
So
little
it's all on the runways, right? On the Navy base?
Yeah. I heard it
Fantastic.
was beginner was flown over grass and intermediate, but yeah, runway air.
Yeah, I had to take Elliot and his wife back to obviously there was no way I could get away, or, you know, being JFK and there at the same time.
I think you should have tried harder.
I should have just left Elliot in the Hudson River and said, swim, sucker. Practice flight of the day.
The first hot practice flight.
The half of, hey, nice shirt. The handsome half of the Ryback Rothman, the good-looking part. Rudy's got the money, he got the good looks. I don't know, maybe...
That's why we go well.
You better tell Rudy to shape up.
I get the girls he pays them.
Yeah, using his wallet. The man has been out in the sun too long. Anyway, got kind of the Paul Walker paint job going on here. What motor's in there, Dwayne?
PTO 51.
Okay, 51. One thing we've determined will be, this is going to be a very hot day. Everybody is trying to stay in the shade to the last minute. It's like a Lawrence of Arabia kind of day here, including me. Hot, hot, hot. What are you talking about? You're not using 012s, are you, Dan? Oh, God. Remind me not to stand near your plane when they launch it. Yeah, I guess so. It only took them about 30 years to figure that out, huh?
5.
What is this, the speed newsletter?
I made up copies.
Oh.
Oh, you want them? Here, take a couple.
Yeah, I just like to look at them.
Okay. Well, this is for, this stack is for Jim's son David. He's in the hospital. So
Oh, give him something to read, yeah.
here's a couple copies if you want to take them with you.
How many members do they have?
The membership list, I don't know, a couple hundred. They publish the membership list every year. It might be in this old one.
One year, you're off someplace, this year, just some vacant lots of place, and some kid walks in and works signing up. Kids are a problem. They walk in and they don't know if they can kill them.
We got a source listed in the latest one.
Kill that beginner. Actually a 0.
No, I'm not doing anything, I'm still sweating.
This is all time. Find somebody you want to split it with and cut the reel in half. Mazzoni had a bunch of them. He may have an extra piece left over. The official Philly Flyers makeup artist. He gets to practice on Brian Kiefer. It is really a roaster here. It is hot, 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 hot. Hey, Wendy. Hey, hey, hey. A couple things I never thought of. Can you make it? Don't drive over the plains. Anyway, it's projected to go up to 100 today. We are only going to be able to stay till lunchtime. We have an engagement this afternoon. One of our friends is having a... Look at this bird. What the hell is that? Did you see this bird? Did you see that? Holy crap. Wow. What was that all about? Never seen that before. Flights for the birds. What was that, John?
Beginning intermediate, maintenance expert. Old time dead, I'm sure, plastic, whatever it is. That's it? Okay. Okay, leave the...
And Banjack finally using solid lines after a lot of prodding. Automotive.
Hey, how was that contest? Yes, it was good. Yeah.
The only thing that is not a stone, but at least they're thinking about it, is
They have me judge in advance, so that would be real easy to do.
Mustang. Is
this the one that's crashed all these times, Wendy?
Yeah. Bob, introduce your friend on video here for the world to, we'll make him famous.
Okay.
Sufficient doing video, that's okay.
No, Wendy Ortnowski is not the smartest guy in the world video.
Which network we will be?
He's telling things in Italian, so I don't know. Oh, yeah, you should see how much pizza he eats.
We're discussing here as far as, you know, we're comparing some of the philosophies.
Yeah, well, let's take his needle valve out while he's at the pilots meeting.
No, like for example, he hadn't seen the Ray Brunner.
Oh, he never saw that? Oh.
They don't use that in Europe. The other thing I was talking about, the school of thought. For example, there's certain people, c'è gente che non piacciono questi qua, il gioco. Some people don't like that slop between elevator and flaps. Other people prefer to see it. I happen to think it works better.
You know how it works? In Italy, you like blonde women, and some men like women with dark hair, but all women are good.
Yes.
That's a...
Okay, and some are much better.
There's room in the hobby for all women. Not David Eiskins, though.
You're changing the argument.
Ah, no.
Speaking of modern.
I'm winning the argument.
I found one of the easiest way, if you have a plane that has a slight problem grooving, that's the quickest way to...
It's one way, you know, there's other ways, but...
To me, it's one of the easiest ways anyhow.
Every time I talk to somebody who says they don't like slop, I go over to their plane, I pick it up, I grab the tin, it has slop in it. And they say, that's not slop, that's tight.
No, if it moves,
Yeah, I don't know, yeah.
it may not have had that slop when he built it.
Go try Banjock's plane, I'll bet his is an old
This is
plane.
like a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
His has really got a lot.
How about yours? You got a lot in there, Dave?
Yeah, I got about as much as you.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But there's people like the tight, like Dol Drindak likes it. He's got the ball links, there's no slop.
They use in Europe. They all use.
Oh, they use ball links, okay.
Conquilli ball links.
To this contest, I thank you so much. Before we start, I want to call your attention for the next two contests. Ermac on September, when? 12? Bill, September 12th. Ermac is going to have they'll have their contest at our field. Next weekend, Flushing will have a much expected contest which has been postponed for a couple of years now, and we expect all the effort to attend from all of us to attend that contest. as far as today's contest, it's hot, it's humid. We have sodas for 50 cents. Judges can have as many they want for free. Judges don't pay for sodas. I have water on my car on the cooler and orange juice for anyone that wants it. The judges for the day will be myself and Keith Ferguson for expert on the big circle. Advanced will be Wendy and Bill Lindman on the big circle. Bill Mazzoni and John Sanders will judge intermediate. Roy Ward and Johnny O will judge beginners. I'll judge OTS with, I'll find someone. And classic will be Bill Lindman and myself judging. We expect the maximum care taken with as far as safety goes. No fingers on the prop. The usual deal, you put one finger, we take another. Safety thongs.
We had an inadvertent accident.
I have exactly the same thing breaking. I have a push rod.
Now watch this. The plane, of course, has no nose anymore.
And the push rod broke flying level and broke right here. I have a clevis. Yes. And the push rod broke right here. I have it all. I can show it to you.
Okay, Noel Drindak. I know you'll know why this broke or how it broke, but I hope you...
I know why it broke too. It's called a stress riser. It broke at the root of the threads where the stress is
exactly
concentrated.
It broke on yours too?
Yes, exactly.
The engineering term is a stress riser. It's something you don't think about happening, and I've done this on probably 30 push rods.
Boy, anybody out there that's watching video, don't do this at home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, do not try this at home.
No threads on a push rod. And that's a small plane.
Exactly.
That's not a heavy plane.
No, it's a 40-ounce aircraft. So it's not the fact that the controls are working against the power. It's a Fox 35 on a small aircraft. So I'll tell you one thing, though. Look here, there are no... I mean, that went in pretty hard, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look at this.
No scratch?
Nothing.
What I did is, and this is not... What I did is no. Talcum powder and dope fillets. There was no epoxy at all on this. Talcum powder and dope fillets, and I took the wing, and instead of building it with that goofy egg crate spar, I just used a very thin spar, top and bottom, laminated with some Kevlar, to cut the weight down. But I did, on the inside, there's carbon fiber over the center section.
Yeah. I saw it from the front.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, you can see.
You can see the carbon fiber, the mat or whatever. Frank McMillan uses that all the
also on
time.
the inside too.
Yeah, I see that.
And it comes out about an inch past the fuselage on either side.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Boy, those adjustable push rods, though, they are accidents waiting to happen. I don't care.
As many as I use, I guess when you've never had a problem with something.
Yeah. You know what? When you jump off the Empire State Building, you go down 94s, you say, what's the problem?
Yeah, so far so
good. Nothing happened to me so far.
On the way down, you keep hearing, so far
it's the truth. That's human nature. Yeah, I never had a problem. I drive a few drinks, no problem. Next day, you read the guy's dead in the paper.
Yeah, who's that? Me.
Yeah. No adjustable push rods. Not many people paint the motor in their plane. Is there a reason?
Did you ever watch Sanford and Son?
Is this the equivalent of an Italian Sanford and Son?
Who started?
You got the Italian diplomat over here. You bet.
Who started in Sanford and Son?
Do they do this in Italy? Do they use these screws in it? Yeah, they're dumb too, huh?
Wendy, you know who started in Sanford and Son, right?
Yeah.
Red Fox.
Red Fox.
See?
Becomes crystal clear now.
Now you've all learned a valuable lesson from Bob. I won't use adjustable push rods Zambelli.
So help me.
Wow.
Never do it forever or longer.
Wow. Write about it in Stunt News, please. Write about it.
A safety column. We could talk about it.
No, we don't have a safety column anymore. We're leaving early after the first round, and it's just a good day to be leaving early, really. Well, we'll figure that out before you go. Now this is Keith Ferguson, and we're back from Middlesex, where Keith judged until he fell down of heat frustration. All right, now tell me, this is a Brodak built from a kit.
Yeah, straight Brodak kit.
You picked up some of the little ideas off the Brodak Nobler videos.
I followed the videos.
Okay.
I got your videos, and I just went chapter after chapter and made a little adjustments, and pretty much held to it.
Okay.
And the thing that I saw was I wanted to cover the wing and tail before I put them in the body.
Right. Boy, that's the biggest single thing.
And that was a lot better, just manipulating everything.
Boy, this is real nice woodwork. This is beautiful.
Because sanding in here seemed like it would be tough. you know, and that
Oh, yeah.
worked out real well.
That dried up real nice.
Yeah.
The tail is nice too. A lot of guys have trouble building his tail. I don't know why. That's always like a major thing. They complain about building a tail. Oh, that looks real nice.
Well, I think what you showed with the ribs and everything, because I built a couple of these.
Right.
You know, sanding them down and working the ribs in and all that seemed to.
Exactly,
That was
yeah.
a help on the.
Yeah, with a block.
Yeah.
Where you don't have one rib sticking up
Yeah.
like a tooth.
Yeah.
Like
And
it
then
needs-
running the parallel, you know, so that they're parallel to one another. That was
Right.
good.
Right, now you got a 4-inch bell crank in there.
Yeah.
Okay, you got nice solid horns. I see that. That's
Yeah.
nice, yeah.
And then I have this
Arrow shaft.
arrow shaft. Yeah. The one in the back is
Not using one of Zambelli's
no.
easy go off.
No, nothing
quick links.
threaded here. No threads.
No threads.
Yeah.
That's a good, that's like that European thing that's a circle, no threads.
Yeah.
Boy, we're seeing that crash yesterday. Jeez.
Yeah. You know,
Solid lead outs, okay.
this came out pretty light, you know, and then
Yeah, oh, it's ultra light.
so I have that.
You got the canopy?
Oh, I didn't bring it with me.
Oh, okay.
But what I did on the sides, see, I put this in here,
To
and
beef
they're
it up,
notched.
yeah.
Well, no, they're notched. And I
Okay,
slid it back to hold this in place,
okay,
you know, because I made this so it could move around.
right.
So when I adjusted the flaps and the elevators,
Now let me show
I was
the little,
shifting this back and forth.
if you look down the elevators, what he did, he made a little,
Yeah.
what do you call it, a little test piece to
Yeah,
see where neutral is.
Yeah, I just extended this out. I drew a line.
Okay, a parallel line
And
to
then
the
I
cross line.
glued a stringer to the line,
Okay.
and then I cut off the first piece, but I had to piece this whole
Okay.
length.
Right, I see the line on
Yeah.
the front,
And then so this comes, I line this up with this.
with the center of that.
Yeah, and then I do the same thing with the flap on the other side.
Okay,
So on this side here,
okay, you can get that parallel line.
yeah, and then I line this
Referencing
up
off
with
of there.
this, and then I move the elevator back
Right.
and forth to when they're both there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I moved this in, you know, I glued it, and I knew, okay, this is roughly the position.
Right, right. And then just measure hinge to
Yeah,
hinge,
hinge to hinge, right, and then look from the front.
sight it to make sure it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah,
real close.
yeah, it's because it's going to change a little with the
Oh, yeah.
top on, you know.
Now what I found works real well. If you glue the turtle deck on and then you know to say this is high, an eighth of an inch,
Yeah,
I just sprayed this area right here with Windex, put a little weight on the end of the tail,
yeah,
and if it's out an eighth of an inch, make it out an eighth of an inch this way. And in the morning, when you take that off, it'll be right on the
yeah. I
money.
thought, you know, you really want to be close, but you're going to put the bottom and top on.
Yeah,
You know, that's
and you always
really
stress
catchy.
it when you do that a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's always a problem.
Yeah.
Now, what's holding, oh, you got the little copper clips, okay, that's holding the horn in.
Right, yeah, and I just have the two.
Now, my only
got the
thought is-
hinges in.
I would like to see
Why
a
didn't?
little piece of plywood, a horseshoe around
Well, I
there.
have this, but I still have to put a retainer on this because I just
Yeah.
did this last night.
No, I mean this
Yeah.
copper, the little copper
Yeah.
thing, I would go around that with a piece
Yeah,
of carbon
well,
fiber.
what I have is I came in from the inside,
Okay,
and I have blocks on the inside that I made, and I
and it's nice
glued
and
it.
solid?
Yeah, it's in
Okay,
fact what I have is a wedge.
Okay.
It comes out.
and these are the same thing, you got something
Yeah.
holding these, because if that tube loosens up,
No. they
and boy,
won't.
never
They
get,
won't.
well, okay, yeah, never get,
That's locked in there.
but with these loosen up, once a plane is built, you know what I'm talking about, where that horn can go back and forth?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. No,
I don't think that will,
that's
but,
it. I made little wedges I put on
Okay.
each side,
right,
and then I separated the tab,
Right.
and I came in with it again, so it's locked.
okay, so there's no way that can
No.
loosen up, yeah.
No, it's like an anchor.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, it's self-tightening when you do it that way.
Yeah.
And you got the little arrow shaft, but most of all, a 4-inch bell crank. Boy,
Yeah.
that's so important.
Yeah, I thought the one I have is a little sensitive, and I thought the 4-inch.
Oh, that cures that in one
Yeah.
stroke of the pen, and plus, not only that, the power steering, like when it gets windy out, that's
Yeah.
another cure. Look, he's gonna land right on my lines. Right on my lines! Ah! You're landing on my lines!
Hopping and jumping.
All right, well, Mike's experience in here is he's been running a Jet 60, of course, and what he's been doing is we had the plane trimmed. What we have, we had a lot of nose weight in it, I forget. But we had an awful lot of nose weight and the lead outs way back, and it was tending to hinge and yaw. And we've been trying to clean that up as the week goes by. And what do you have for nose weight in there now? Just that heavy spinner?
No, it's only about a half an ounce.
A half ounce? Because I know my half ounce nose weight is missing, so it must be in that flight. All right, fuel it up. Get a couple flights while the air is dead like this.
Yeah, it's
Most fun of all we've had. Because we're selling Powermaster fuel, guess what? We get to this point in the summer, the fuel has left Texas, but it never got here. And this is how much fuel we have left for the rest of the day. We're going to have to go to this is great. A fuel dealer has to go at hobby shop and buy fuel. Anyway, we really have had good luck with the Powermaster fuel. Oh, we sold the 36 gallons at the net, so it could have been too bad. None of it's come bouncing back either. Now what happened is, this is the motor that we have a sealed bearing in. George put a different sealed bearing in it, and there is not one drop of oil anywhere on the plane right now, so that's a real good cure. And we got that's Peabody's, Brian, he's the prop? That's Peabody's prop. Okay, we've been Rich buys a bunch of props from somebody for $10.
Now Peabody has no props, and we have more.
Now Peabody's got no props. He doesn't have one prop left in his collection. But that prop, the pitch looked good at 10.5. That was a nice running speed for this stuff.
Yeah.
Just watch it there, he's deadly. It's still hot. We didn't really let it cool off. You're a mean person. Like I said, 3 chokes. Don't you listen? God! Like I said, 4 chokes. How many times have we done this? God. We run out of fuel, we can't get the motor. Oh, there it goes. Hey! Like that, 5 chokes. Now, a couple of things that we've really come to grips with here. It was really, really hot the last couple of days. I mean, we've had this summer from hell that there's been no rain or whatever. It's just been terrible. And what I thought was, we were running a little green air filter, and I thought, oh yeah, let's try the black air filter. That'll let the motor make a little more power, use a little more fuel. Well, one of the downsides of using that black air filter was it used a little more fuel. We got about 10 less laps, in fact. But one of the downsides was when it was starting hot, it wouldn't start on the first flip or the second flip. It kind of needed to be choked, and then you weren't sure if it was 2 chokes. In fact, just what we just videotaped. And 2 or 3 or 2 or 3. You put the green air filter back on, it starts on the first or second flip virtually every time. So that may be one of the, I've heard other people say that they can never get the chokes right. 2 is not enough, 3 is too many, or those kind of things. That's something you might want to try no matter what engine you have. Again, it's really hot out here. You have to understand what's happening here is we get out to the field at between 7 and 7:30 in the morning, and because the planes are real quiet, we can fly. Now, you definitely couldn't do that with a Fox 35. You'd really have trouble. But we always get this hour or 2 of nice cool air, cool meaning under 90. And right now it's already 92 degrees and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. So we're closing in on having another one of those 100-degree scorchers. We're already in water controls. We're not allowed to water grass or anything. Everything's starting to croak in the garden. And it's miserable. It's just miserable being out here. It was miserable at Middlesex. Karen was overheating and having all kind of problems with her asthma. We had to leave early, and Flushing is this Sunday, so I'd like to get a couple of practice flights, but that's a good tip. if you have a motor that's a little cantankerous in hot weather, the green filter seems to hold the fuel. Now what I do is when I prime it, I fill a tank, put the cap on, and then give it a little pump till it starts dripping out of the venturi. And usually what that'll do is if you bring the motor around real slow and flip it hard, it'll start first or second flip, I'd say 99% of the time. When it's cold, 2 drops of lighter fluid anywhere near the venturi usually will get it fired right up. We've also been doing, and we've been doing it off camera because it's so tedious and boring, Mike bought a bunch of glow plugs. Some Thunderbolts with no idle bar, Thunderbolts with an idle bar, some short Thunderbolts. Some plugs, I don't even know what brand they are. They came in a little package that really didn't identify who made them. I have some SIG, the 4-stroke SIG plugs, and 2 4-stroke K&B plugs. And we've been playing with the plugs over and over and over and over, and really, I haven't seen any big gain or loss, other than the fact when we originally started with the 50, we ate a couple of Thunderbolts up. Other than that, the motor's been pretty insensitive, especially this number 3 motor, to whatever plug wants to be in there. And we've had, by the way, real good luck with Brian Ether's 12-inch. This is Brian Ether's 12-inch 2-blade with a little undercamber. It's the slightly undercambered one. And see, that's what's nice about working in our little environment here. Rich picked this stuff up, I think, from Will Hinton, a bunch of props that were already carved on and cut on. And I went home and chewed them up to my gauge. And basically here you are right here. It's a $10 carbon prop. They were all usable. And for a person like Mike that's just learning the pattern, it's a godsend that we don't have to cut up all of Dennis's props. And there's really a lot of handwork going into using Dennis's props. So saves us a lot of time. And now that Mike can get some steady practice with some reliable motor runs, I think he's going to move right up the ladder real quick. Maybe even get him to come out to the Nats next year. A good student. Check this out. This is what happens on a summer day like this. Look at the traffic. Trying to get up to the circle burner field for a couple of flights, and I go past the sign that says, "Pray for rain." Pray for rain. Pray for some flying good air here today. That was funny on the way up to the field. Pray for rain. We have had the smallest amount of rain that I can ever remember in my whole life here. Anyway, our field is like parched earth. There's not much grass left, to tell you the truth. Nothing much to mow. Mike's been making out like a bandit. One of the things I want to do today, I was talking to a couple of people. Now, what I've been trying to do is change my body position during maneuvers. So what I was going to try to do is record a flight of just looking at the pilot for body position and see if I can pick up, even on my own flight, anything that looks quirky or crazy or whatever. When it gets this hot, usually a lot of things fade, and you're wondering there's me. Anyway, I've been experimenting with a set of 015 lines so I could do multiple maneuvers, multiple wing overs and things. But I always go back and forth in the course of the day with my solids to make sure I'm not building in some kind of new trim problem into the plane. and that you can get some idea. Little spots where I tend to back up. And by the way, this year I was watching a lot of the flyers for their body position. Everybody has unique little quirks, but if you're having a problem someplace where the plane is going soft, you can kind of just back up. A place where it tends to accelerate, you can move toward the plane. And you see I left the landing on there, so you can see what I tend to do is just before the plane touches down, take 2 steps to it, and it just sinks into the grass. It almost never ever bounces. Almost never. And you don't wind up chewing up the props and all the front of the airplane from going into the grass when it'll tend to bounce. But never at the last second back up, and then the plane will always want to you always see those landings where it's rising up and then bouncing. Another good lesson, and Rich Jacobone learned it well at the Nats. You finish a landing. When the plane stops rolling, keep the tension on the lines. He kind of fell asleep at the switch, and the plane took back off and could have potentially damaged the plane. Now, unfortunately, I can't get the camera downwind. I want to shoot one flight, but there's other people flying on the other circle, so I have to kind of wait, because I don't like to hear the motor runs in the background. At least I can get a little indication of how the motor is running. The fuel consumption's dead on at 6:30. see all the obvious mistakes, but most of all that the intersection on a 4-leaf clover and the intersection on the overhead 8 were just really bad. So those are one of the things I'm putting in my little notebook here to work on future flights. Look at this, I get home from the field, I'm trying to have a relaxing lunch, cup of coffee, and with the birds aren't content to have the seeds, they got to sit on my windowsill here. They climb up the screen, they fight and argue about the judging. What a bunch of crybabies. Anyway, you can't believe these. I got this new brand of seeds from Home Depot. Looks like there's marijuana or something in them. Look at these guys. All over my God. Hard to believe. Anyway, turned out to be a pretty nice, productive day. Gotta do the usual yard work and get ready for tomorrow, get ready for the team trials. Well, you saw the billboard. It said, pray for rain. I guess the people in that church were praying, because this is the first time in about 2 months that we've had any rain at all. In fact, we're on water shortage, water restrictions. Can't water the grass, can't wash the cars, can't wax your plane. Anyway, it's Sunday morning. The Flushing meet is today. They've revitalized this meet, and either way, even if we don't get the fly today, we're going to go out there. We want to catch up on our old friendships and maybe shoot some video. We have no high hopes, though. The weather really does. This looks like the first real rain day. Now, this just shows you, in the world of model planes, the kind of things you have to put up with. You can just hear the flowers now they're so happy it's raining. Boy. Amazing. We are on water restrictions. See the neighbor's lawn? They don't water. We do, but now even we can't water. Unbelievable. Thank God for the rain. Now, one thing I'm always glad I have on a day like today is have a set of 018 braided lines, just in case we have to fly in the rain. Not if it's pouring, but if it's wet, always good to have that backup set of lines with the handle already adjusted, and we have it. Now you can see right up in front of us, and today is the opening day for the Giants and the Jets. Exhibition games start today. I hope we're going to get some tickets. It's impossible to get Giant tickets, but anyway, Elliot was dying to go to a football game. He just didn't realize you don't play football in the summer. Anyway, it does not look promising for Flushing, but we're going to give it our best try. And how many times, I know we've done this on video, how many times we've gone to a place where it's pouring rain, we get there and it's a reasonable day. But either way, even if it's just to renew old friendships, it's worth the trip out there. $11 in tolls for me to get out there and back. That's why I don't go to Flushing much anymore. Sign. Empire State Building going right up into the rainy clouds. Don't go to Flushing much anymore. The traffic. Buses that just pull right out. What an ordeal. This trip I used to, believe me, I'm putting this on the tape. I used to make this trip sometimes 3 times a week in the good old days, and I don't miss making it anymore. What an ordeal this trip used to be. It still is. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this guy. Times I made this trip, and to get home, the Yankee game would get out, the Met game would get out, and you get stuck in a city for 2-3 hours. And there's no way to get back to Jersey. Now, if we can make it through the tunnel, that only took about 15 minutes, and now we can make it through Manhattan, and then through the Midtown Tunnel. Wow, this is bringing back some bad memories.
She lost her wig, she lost her arms, and when they got through, she lost all of her charm. What a friend, keep my talking down,
Yeah, the first toll is $4 for the Lincoln Tunnel. This one is $3.50 for the Midtown. And then we got to come back, $3.50 this way again. $11 in tolls. I don't know why these tolls really aggravate me though. It's unbelievable with the kind of taxes we pay. You can't get a flying field even out of it. You wouldn't mind $4 toll if they'd give you a flying field. Just another day driving out to Flushing. Well, we paid our money, we fought the rain, we went through Manhattan, we're finally at Flushing Meadow Park. And I see somebody's flying already. Unbelievable. Let's hope the day is okay. All right, you can start the contest. Debbie's here. Hey! Who said you brought the rain? All my fish are on dry land. There's no rain in Jersey. God, I hope... Oh, you can't water the garden in Jersey. $1,000 fine. This is true pro stunt. He brings 4,000 donuts. 200, what else you got? You got any bagels in there? No. Chocolate chips? What an ordeal getting through Manhattan this morning. They had the Lincoln Tunnel down to one lane for some reason. Who the hell knows? Well, thank God it rained. Now about 2 hours have gone by, and what they've decided to do is, because it was raining, half of the people didn't show up, it's going to be a small contest. But it looks like we have enough people. We're going to have a fun fly and save the trophies for, I think they postponed it till the 28th. And there's a lot of cool stuff here. Usually, tell you the truth, a lot of times the fun flies turn out better than the real contest. So we're going to look around, hang out for a little while, and try to get some of this on tape for you. Yeah, that's something you don't see at every time. With Julia probably didn't see. Look at the little elevators up in the front. Oh, this is cool for me. Where's the motor? Oh, there's no motor. The motor goes back here. And it connects with a little shaft. Banjo, pay attention. It connects with a little shaft. Look at that. Cool. Pretty unusual. In the rain. I remember having pictures of this. It's an old Dixar Polis design. When I was writing for Flying Models, we featured this. Or it was in, I don't know, it was even a construction article. Who knows? The good part of a fun fly. No pressure. Mike's flying, Jose's playing. Boy, you got a lot of guts, Jose. I'll give you credit for that. Letting an unskilled flyer like this fly your plane. Especially those wimpy guys. Wow. Oh, yeah. Wimp-o-matic. A team-proud airplane right here. Actually, that muffler's pretty quiet. That little carbon thing. That's not bad at all. Fly that plane. Come on, hammer it, Mike. You know, right, it's not yours, so go ahead and hammer it. What's there not to like? He probably didn't even pay you for the gas.
Probably don't want to sell his little
carbon muffler. We're going to make Jose one of these little carbon. Now, Drindak hat, now how big is the opening on this? Drindak has some kind of thing on the back.
It's a little
here.
larger than that, and it had a stinger on it. Cut it off.
Yeah, yeah.
Open it up more. Let
That's
it breathe.
not loud at all. God, Noel's thing is as loud as a diesel truck.
It's loud, I know, it is loud.
Loud. Isn't Noel's plane loud? This you wouldn't even know it wasn't a normal muffler.
This is what Randy's selling right here?
Yeah, it presses in with an O-ring. Yeah.
Oh, it presses with an O-ring?
Yeah. So you can make a side exhaust engine.
What's your thoughts on it, Wendy?
Buy a rear exhaust engine. It's cheaper.
I know.
It's $100 cheaper.
I know, that's what I'm going to do.
That's $100 what you got in your hand.
Kind of heavy, too.
Just buy a Jet 60 and you're done. You don't have to buy any of these fancy things. I know a guy's got one for sale cheap. He just crashed his plane in Jersey. Who is it? Jacobone. He crashed his Strega. He's gonna fix it though. Well, sometime you have to, you know, when you're in the lemonade business, you gotta drink lemonade. We look like we're gonna have a rainy fun flight today. But it's already an interesting day because, well, number one, I sold out on carbon belt cranks, which was nice. That paid for the tolls anyway. Also, we'll get to spend some time trimming planes and flying each other's plane that sometimes we don't get to do at a real contest. And at least the rain is flyable here. It's not really great, but it's certainly the grass needs it. Look at this. He put a cardinal up on his cockpit because it wouldn't fly good without it. Now he said it flies fine. Looks suspiciously like a Brodak cardinal. Look at the flaps on this thing. I don't know what this is. I gotta ask him. What is this? You bought this?
This is a Thunder Tiger G200 ARF.
What does an ARF mean? Oh, it's a radio control.
It's finished, painted.
Where did you buy this?
This is
I never
through the
saw
mail. This is a radio-controlled airplane. Converted to...
And you just put a bell crank in it?
I put a bell crank in it.
How'd you put a bell crank in it?
To my servo
Oh, you
box.
made, oh, your servo box. Why, of course. What is stupid of me not to know that.
Servo box. This is actually the top of the airplane.
Well, and how does it fly? Good?
It flies. It's not a Cardinal, but it flew.
But then nothing else is either, so.
It didn't fly good until I put a Cardinal in it.
Yeah, I know. I noticed the Cardinal. The Cardinal is mandatory.
The Cardinal is a monocoque copy of your Cardinal from your box.
That's great. You've come a long way in the last couple of years. Wow. I want to see this fly.
Well,
This looks pretty cool.
We're going to fly it.
Isn't that great? He makes those. First loop, 50 cents. Each loop, 25 cents. Having sex in the cab, $2. That's great. Jimmy would be jealous. Crash landing, no charge. Other hair-raising stunts, $1. That's very good. Yeah, Jimmy unfortunately crashed his. The Harry Chapin taxi. That was kind of a cool plane. Richard's flying cab. Is he a cab driver?
No, I don't know.
Crash Jacobone. Let's see. Come on.
How you doing, baby?
Come on. Let's see what happened.
The Strega.
You got the. Where's the
I got
spinner?
the Strega with.
You find your spinner or not?
Yes, I did.
Where was
I'm
it?
going to take yours too, though.
Where was it? I left it on the back
was in the
porch for you.
All the way up front.
Did I tell you what I did with my mother? I take her shopping. True story. We get home and there's no salami. She says, Wendy, go back to the store. Get another pound of salami. I go back. I'm begging the guy. Look, my mother's here. She's 85 years old. She wants the salami. The guy gives me another pound free. I get home. It was in with the corn. Now she makes me take it back because it would be immoral to keep the salami. I got to make 2 trips to ShopRite for a pound of salami. Flip it over. Let me see where it got whacked. Rich crashed that. Now who is it? That dumb Gene Martins told you to do this, right?
Here.
Okay. Come on. Now, but Gene Martin, let's give him credit where it's due. How do you like those landing gear, Bobby?
Oh, is this the fiber?
Yeah, that's mine on there.
Now, what is this? A reinforcement or?
Yeah, just a reinforcement. So never listen to my mother or Gene Martin.
Exactly.
Or shall we
And
call
I
him dumb Gene Martin?
I already told Gene. I said, Gene, the next time I see him, I'm going to strangle you.
Oh, we'll give him to that sewer guy that was
And
by
he
the
said,
house.
"No, I do that all the time. And if nothing happens to me."
Yeah. Put your hand in a lion's cage and see what happens. I had a building planes, just buy one of these for $50. Take the servo box out, put a belt crank in it. Feels like it's starting to rain again, and I'm real cautious not to get this camera wet. Yeah, it's raining again. Anyway, they decided to reschedule a contest for later in September. Believe me, it's only rained one day the whole summer here. It's unbelievable. Jimmy, I feel like I'm in a time warp with all these old planes. How old is this plane? This must have 1,000 flights on it. Old nobles never die. Hey, come on, who's up? You're wasting all my good air here. Could be flying in the rain. It's a Spitfire.
Well, because it's on cable. Heavy. Oh, I had that sucker up high, and that was the end of it. It cut on me, and pow! I can't put on
Feels like it might be binding on a spinnerback plate, Jim? No. Not binding anywhere? No. Hey Neil, whose Bislab is this? Gee, I would have never known if you didn't tell me.
Well, there were so many Bislabs around.
But you got the only pro stunt one. Coupled flaps.
No,
Coupled. They all have that? I thought Banjock only has it on a wing or something.
That's the standard. That's the only difference between this and the standard. The plans is I use 16th ply on the wing supports, and I angled them according to, I think, Tom Niebuhr's...
Yeah, Niebuhr's the king of bislobbery.
Yeah.
He's the biggest slob going, in fact.
The only difference I made with this is I put aluminum landing gear on to make it look a little...
Oh, you need carbon gear. I make special bislob carbon gear. You should put a carbon gear on top and aluminum on the bottom, and then you can switch them to get the vertical CG right.
Well...
It's high-tech stuff, these bislobs. How's the Giesecke Nobler going, okay?
That's excellent flying airplane.
Yeah, I like them.
Sorry, one of my lighter building jobs.
Giesecke is okay. I don't care what Rick Ashford says about him behind his back. Dwayne Rossman contributing to our entertainment here at the Fun Fly. Between the raindrops, in fact, it is now officially raining. I'm going to have to put the camera in the car. I'm getting wet. I do not like getting this camera wet. It's always so expensive to get it fixed. Nice pilot in this plane, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the little pilot. Had his picture in Stunt News. Now he's got a big ego problem. Wayne, from here it looks like your outboard wing is up. You ought to have Mike look at this. Or look at it when you play the video back. I know you're going to play this video back as soon as you get it. Wing looks up inverted. Let's see if it's down and upright. If it's up both ways, you could add some tip weight. No. Hard to tell. I'll have to have Mike look at it. Mike's the only one of us that has decent eyes. Isn't wearing tremendous thick glasses. Oh God, I can't believe it rained today. Everybody decided to save the $11 on tolls and not show up. Except me. Does that make me the dumbest person in Jersey? Probably. Lampione has some pictures here. Yeah, does he ever fly this plane, or does he just
Yeah,
run it
this
on the
is the
ground?
Thunderbird. He flies. He
Okay.
flies real well. He flew it at Prodex.
Okay.
Here's Jimmy D.
JD, okay.
We have Neil.
There's Neil,
Hey,
yeah.
this thing's going to take off.
Wow, we're gonna lose the tent is going over backwards here.
What do we got here?
That's Kostecki, isn't it? I can't tell.
That's Kostecki, Jerry Phelps, and Mary Phelps. You can tell the Phelps twins there.
The Phelps, yeah, they dress. And
They
Jerry
dress-
Jerry definitely does wear the same color underwear as Mary.
As Mary does.
I don't think Mary wears his underwear, but he wears hers. Hey,
It's-
Big Art, hey.
Big Art Adam Missing.
All right. I can't tell.
Is this your official job? I can't tell either.
Yep, this is it.
We don't know anything about stunt, do we? That was a
some
great
of the-
meet. You got to admit, that was a
This was
great
a great
meet.
meet. This was some of the guys at Profile, I guess.
Okay, yeah. Profile.
That was another one of the... Oh, that's Mike Pratt's airplane.
Yep. That was in stunt news.
Who is that, Garrison? I can't see. Let me see.
You think I can see through the lens cap? You're crazy.
I don't know who the hell that is. Oh, that's Mikey Rogers.
Oh, that's Tom McLean's plane.
Right.
The Flores plane, yeah. He had that. He had it at the Circle Burners, too. Whoa, we're going to lose the 10 here, kiddo.
That
Wow,
was a
the-
beautiful tucker. That was
Yeah,
Jerry
yeah.
Phelps' tucker.
Jerry
Oh,
Phelps.
wait a minute. This is
Whoa,
gonna
we're
take
losing the field here.
Turn that off. Turn that off.
We're losing it, huh? Good looking Ray Moore here. Now that the tent is blown away. Brodak, yeah. This is Brodak, yeah.
Birthday when we singing happy birthday to him?
Tom Morris's Cavalier. By the way, you can buy these for like $300 or $400 already built. Anybody wants one. Don't let them blow away, Bobby. Ah, Brodak's little scale
That's a nice
ship.
airplane. How do you do with the net?
6. He got 6.
That's
yeah.
good, right?
Yeah. I'd say it's the
I guess. I don't know.
I didn't get 6 with the Spitfire even.
Oh, that's good old brother.
Yeah, that's his garage with all the planes hanging in it. Dixon's plane, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Tom's plane. Was Brodak holding an AAA meeting, or is it an AA? What's Alcoholics Anonymous?
They were just having breakfast.
Breakfast? That looks like a can of beer. I see suds coming out of that.
No, this was, we were there with George Aldrich and, Larry Scarinzi.
Yeah,
Let me grab
yeah.
a cup of coffee anywhere I can.
Has he ever paid for a cup of
He was
coffee?
he must squeak when he walks.
Wow.
I think he might...
Mean to Larry. No, there is some truth. About 20 years ago, he did actually pay for a cup of coffee. Pay list price. He pays. You know what he does? He goes to the senior citizen window, gets 2. You're only limited to 2. Then he puts a disguise on and goes inside and gets 2 more. Yeah, here comes a lot of rain. An adventure. Fortunately, the wind is even too much for a fun fly. So what we're going to do, as we normally do, is head up to the diner and have an eating festival. The last time all the flyers went up to this diner, we had a great scam. We pulled on Mike Rogers. While we were all eating, we took his windshield wipers off his car. Maybe we can do it again today. Yeah, there's some days it just doesn't pay. Today was one of them. It was a good fun fly though.
When we walk down the island of Belfast.
Boy, what an ordeal getting back. Oh, you can't win either way.
You know, boys, I think I sleep in the south of France. And the south north of me is harem of 500 beautiful wives. But I turn them down. Because when I get up every morning, who wants to find 1,000 stockings hanging in the bathroom? Not the ratty. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you.
That's the way that I get from you.
He likes to warm this year. Look at this. Well, at least it isn't raining anyway. What an ordeal getting back. There's only one thing better than going to Flushing. That's knowing you're coming home. Look at this. We don't even get one light on the whole thing. Boy, after a terrible day at Flushing yesterday and a nightmare getting there and getting home, hey, at least one thing. There was no damage to the pond this time from the storm. Anyway, another thing, just looking around here, the rain we had really perked up the garden, and look at this. This is Karen's pride and joy. This is a 7-foot-high Joe Pye weed. We've been nursing him all year. What a beautiful flower. Anyway, we're going to get downstairs and get some work done in the shop today. You know, all the things I enjoy every morning, we've been lucky enough to be able to have our coffee out here every morning. Sit out here for 10-15 minutes, listen to the birds chirping and squeaking and peeping, looking at the flowers. Let's get some idea of how many hours Karen and I have put into this garden. And she's put more time in than I have, but she's got one special thing happening here, and I know like Mrs. DeJulia would be impressed with this. Look at our gladiola coming up here. We got the first of the gladiolas coming up. By the end of the week, that guy's it's going to be my birthday Sunday, so it better be. This is my birthday. Every year on my birthday, the gladiolas bloom. Now in today's mail, I got this nice picture from Joe Ortiz. And you know, one of the things, hey, I got to give you credit, Joe. When you used to run Flushing, wow. Thing ran like, I don't know, like it was on greased rails. The people over there really do miss you. You're a great guy, you and Peggy both. Now this is from my good friend, and I won't call him a coach, but he's been real good about helping me with my stunt pattern, Bill Zimmer. And he knows we're dreaming and drooling about P51, so being the cool guy he really is, he sends me this book as if I needed some more inspiration. Anyway, there's a lot of... This is one of those books that just makes me crazy. You look at this and you start dreaming about models and doing the exhausts and the canopies and the mirrors and the guns, and you know, all of a sudden you're a year older and you're still in 5th place. But this is one of the better books that I've gotten, and I'm going to pass some of this on. I know Bill wouldn't mind. Pass it on to Dan Banjock. Let him take a look at it too. He may get some ideas from this. This is the same company that we bought all the Spitfire books from.